So
Awesome.
thank you for that.
All right. So I just started the recording so we can have this, but yeah, there's different philosophies on the content invite, especially for the VGO, but this really plays out for everything we do in this business. And there's three plus a bonus aspects to a powerful invite. The first one is a sense of urgency. So write that down, sense of urgency.
Okay.
Second point is huge, audacious value.
Huge, audacious.
Value.
Okay.
And the third is a call to action.
It's a call to action.
Yeah, I'll explain. And the bonus, the fourth, if needed, is a success story.
A success story. Okay.
All right. So what the way this goes is these are, and I was just explaining this to somebody else earlier tonight, and I was telling him that because he kind of was, anyhow, there's ways to do this and there's other ways to do this. And what we know from experience is that what I'm about to teach you is a proven successful invite. We just know it works. And the thing is, a lot of people are don't get it right away because they're not understanding the philosophies and psychologies of this business, and that's totally cool. And so for them to do it, it's a little bit of stepping out of the comfort zone. Now for you, because you're young and you don't have a lot of, limiting beliefs yet or anything like that going on, it'll probably be very easy for you. And plus you got an entrepreneurial spirit, you enjoy sales, all those great things are in your favor for this. But just understand that this is a proven success formula. We just know that it flat out works. You talk to any person that's successful in this industry and they're teaching a contact and invite, it's going to have these same elements to it. Maybe the verbiage is a little bit different, but it's going to have this flow to the invite. The first thing is you are on and off that phone as fast as possible. You are not looking to get into a conversation. Getting into a conversation, just as Brad just said now, too much information, you lose the person. All right. So until you really, really have this at a deep, deep level. For right now, for this content invite for the VGO, it is on and off the phone as quick as possible. We're talking 2 minutes max. That a good successful invite can be done in 90 seconds. I mean, that's when you get really good at this. But, right now, 2-3 minutes, something like that. But what you don't want it is a 5-minute long conversation because you end up saying too much that takes away the value. And now they don't need to show up because you just told them the story, right? So we are looking for highlights, the movie preview, not the movie. All right. When we do the VGO, that's the movie. So we want to give them a preview that makes them want to get onto the movie, the VGO. Does that make sense? And see the movie, I should say. Okay. So I'm just going to go through this really quick and then we'll break it down. Does that make sense? So it'll go something like this. Hey, Gabriel, this is Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time? You say no. Okay, we'll try it again. So we're going to roll here a little bit, right? So
I knew that you were recording for your YouTube.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that part. So that's a little comic relief in there. All right. Wake you up. All right. So we're going to just role play a little bit. So ring, ring. Hey, Gabriel, this is Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, not at all.
Oh, great. Well, hey, the reason why I'm calling is, can I ask you a quick question? How familiar are you with CBD or the CBD industry?
Not too familiar with it.
Well, that's wonderful because I'm so glad I got a hold of you. Did you realize that the CBD industry is about a $7 billion industry, but it's going to 20 and even 100 billion within the next 6 years? I mean, there's a lot of money that's going to be made in a very short period of time. And I was just curious, how big of a piece of that pie would you like?
I would like a pretty big piece of that.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Gabriel, you're not going to believe this, but tomorrow night or Wednesday night, I've got this amazing individual that I came across. His name is Guy Berlando. He was an F-16 fighter pilot, Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Air Force. He even was a captain with Southwest Airlines and has sold a best-selling book. And he is connected with the owner of this company that I want to introduce to you. Can you make it at 7 p.m. Wednesday night for a private webinar?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do that.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, Gabriel, I am so excited for you. I am putting your name down in pen. And I'll tell you what, I'm even going to pass on you a little bit about your info onto Guy, the speaker, so that he knows that you're going to be there and kind of understands who you are already. It sounds great?
Sounds great.
Awesome. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you an email with the link to join the Zoom webinar. So you're going to want to be on your computer. It's going to be an hour long. So make sure you block off the time. It's starting sharp at 7 o'clock. You probably want to get on a couple minutes early, and I'll send you that email either tomorrow night or Wednesday.
Sweet.
Sounds great. We'll talk to you then, Gabriel. Bye.
Sweet. All right.
We're done. All right. That's
Quick.
a successful invite. Those people are going to show up. Now, you were really nice, and I like that, but it can also be where the person's giving me some resistance. It can be a little bit of resistance. It can even go to a lot of resistance. So this time we're going to do this, and I want you to give me a little bit of resistance. All right. We'll go through this whole thing again. Ring, ring. Hey, Gabriel, this is Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Not really. I got a little bit of time, but yeah, what's up?
Okay. Hey, well, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I understand you're busy. I'm busy too. This will only take maybe a minute. I just wanted to ask you a quick question. How familiar are you with the CBD industry?
I don't know too much about it.
Okay,
but
well, let me ask you this, Gabriel. Do you make more money than you can spend?
I wish, but
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you what, the reason why I asked these two questions is, did you realize that the CBD industry is at about 7 billion, but it's forecasted to go to 20 billion and then on up to 100 billion within the next 6 years or so? How big, let me just ask you, if you could take part of that, how big of a piece of that pie would you want?
I would like a big piece of that pie. Yeah.
Fantastic. I knew there was a reason why I called you, Gabriel. Well, let me get this. There is going to be a private webinar Wednesday night. Now you got to meet this guy. You got to hear from this guy. He was an F-16 fighter pilot. He was a captain with Southwest Airlines. He sold a best-selling book, or he's a best-selling author. And he is good friends with the owner that started this company. And he's going to explain all of this for you Wednesday night. It's going to take an hour of your time, but I'm telling you what, Gabriel, you do not want to miss this. Can I count you in for Wednesday night at 7 p.m.?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. Possible is good, but I'll tell you what, I'm looking for the serious. So I'm going to give your slot away from somebody else to somebody else, unless you can absolutely tell me that you're going to be on that webinar at 7 p.m. Wednesday night. It's very simple. I just need a yes or no.
Yeah.
I don't.
All
okay.
right.
Super. All right. So I'm going to put your name down in pen. All right. And I'm actually going to, Gabriel, I'm so excited for you. I'm actually going to pass on your information to Guy, the speaker, because I want him to have a little bit of info on you so that he can make this, he's already knows you a little bit. All right. So I'm excited. I'm going to send you an email. It's going to have the link in it and everything, either tomorrow night or even on Wednesday. And we'll see you at 7 o'clock. See, I told you it wouldn't take a lot of time.
All right. Sweet. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you then, Gabriel. Have a great night.
See you then.
All right. Great. Done. Okay. So good job.
Right.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Because that is probably what you'll get a lot of right there. All right. And if somebody says that, no, this is a really bad time, they say, oh man, Gabriel, I'm sorry, but when would be a good time?
Mm-hmm.
And then mark that down. Great. I'm going to call you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. All right. Whatever he tells you or she tells you. Okay. So you might get that, but it's very rare when you ask that question. Now, another thing that Brad likes to throw out that he uses when you listen to his contact invite, he's going to say, hey, Gabriel, I'm running out the door, but can I ask you a quick question? All right. I'm running out the door. I'm running into a meeting. Now, and that works too. And if you got a challenge with that, then after you hang up, run out the door, come back in and make your next phone call. All right. Yeah. That's what Brad uses. All right. I like, hey, Gabriel, did I catch you at a bad time? Because it's just, it just bridges that. I don't know. I just find it be very, very effective. That's what works for me. Whatever you want to use. And now let's break this down. The sense of urgency. I've got an uptick in my voice. I don't have a lot of time. If I'm running out the door, obviously, if I'm calling and say, hey, the reason why I'm calling is making this sound like different than a casual phone call. This is a business oriented phone call. There's a purpose why I'm calling, and don't expect this to be a long phone call. All right. So either one of those is going to set up that sense of urgency. A lot of it's going to be in your tonality and your pacing of your words as well. If I say, hey, Gabriel, hey, it's Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time? You know, I mean, it doesn't have that sense of urgency to it. But hey, Gabriel, this is Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time? And those voice inflections, that pacing, all that adds into this. And give it 10, 15 phone calls or whatever to start really falling into your flow. The first couple may not be that great, but it may be. Again, you don't know. But you eventually you're going to find your own pacing with this.
Gotcha.
All right. So now the next one, I want you to give me all kinds of resistance. Every time, whatever I'm asking, you're like,
Yeah.
give me a hard time. All right. Give me a hard time.
I'm so bad at being an asshole, but I'll try.
Yeah,
I'll try and be
that kind of friend. He's just going to give me a hard time regardless of what I got to say. Right. So
Okay.
ring, ring. Hey, Gabriel, this is Guy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Yeah, you did catch me at a bad time.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I'll tell you what, this won't take long, maybe just about a minute or so. You got a minute?
Not really. Nope. I don't have time.
All right. Well, when would be a good time that we can actually chat? I just need about 2 minutes of your time. When would that be?
Man, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gabriel, I understand. You don't understand why I'm calling, but just let me tell you, this is about making a lot of money. This is about maybe putting an extra $2,000, $5,000 into your pocket on a monthly basis. So, I mean, is that something that's worth 2 minutes of your time?
I'll think about it.
Okay. I'll tell you what, you think about it and give me a call back when you're done thinking. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. See you later.
I'm off the phone, man. I don't got time to waste with a naysayer, and he's not going to be building my business anyhow. Even if he comes in, he's that much of a naysayer, he's probably not going to do much, but he might. So we're not going to discard him, but we are going to put him in a separate file for right now, because you want to go through that list and get the hungry. That's what you're looking for, is the hungry, right?
Yeah.
You know, if he was to say something, Alka wants to chime in here, but let me just finish my thought first. I just got a text message. Let me finish my thought first. If you get somebody like, yeah, I got time, but they start asking you a lot of questions. Hey, well, Gabriel, this is a $7 billion industry going to 20 and then 100 billion in the next, several years. How big of a piece of that pie do you want? Oh, come on. What the heck is this all about, Guy? And then I'm going to say something to the effect of, well, it's about making a lot of money. Is making a lot of money important to you? Do you have more money than you can spend? I mean, when I asked that question, I was actually serious. What if you could? What would change in your life right now if you had an extra $1,000 in your pocket monthly? What would you do with that money? Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start eliciting. I'm going to start asking questions. I'm going to start having that person think of the end game. And if they're still giving me a lot of resistance, it'll be, hey, Gabriel, maybe this isn't for you. If you ever change your mind, give me a call. I got a lot of people that are interested. That's the takeaway. So the urgency, the value is talking about this industry, that billions of dollars and how big of a piece of pie they want. And then the takeaway is, well, maybe this isn't for you. Now, if they say, well, Gabriel, come on, man, tell me what this, or Guy, tell me what this is all about. Then I'm going to go into a success story. Well, let me tell you. Let me explain to you. I'm going to switch roles now. I'm speaking from you. Okay. Now I'm Gabriel and you're Bob. And well, Bob, let me explain this to you. You know me, right? I've always got my thinkers thinking, and I'm always looking for a way to get ahead of everybody else. You know that I'm not average. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm above average, and I'm looking for other above average people. And Bob, I've always thought of you as that way as well. Above average type of person that wants more out of life. And I got to tell you, through my dad, I got connected with this group of entrepreneurs that are helping other people make tons of money. Tons of money makes it generalistic. You got to define what's tons of money. It's a euphemism, if you will, right? So I'm not saying they're making thousands of dollars, but you could say that. But tons of money, right? It's an easy way to just kind of put it under an umbrella. I got connected with these entrepreneurs, and they are helping other people make tons of money. And I'm calling to see if that's something you would want to be a part of. I am super fired up about this because I can see the vision. We've had some mentoring calls with this gentleman. Let me tell you about this guy. He was an F-16 fighter pilot. He was a captain with Southwest Airlines. He's a best-selling author, and he's good friends with the owner of this company. I'm telling you, we are going places. And I thought enough of you, Bob, that I wanted to invite you to a private webinar. It's going to be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Can you be on it? Is it worth an hour of your time to figure out what this is all really about? So that's how you handle. And listen, I didn't really go into the product. I didn't go into the company. I didn't tell them anything. I gave them enough information to be curious. That's it. Gotcha. That's a powerful, very effective invite. And that's how you handle the objections along the way. And just share a success story. So the success, because you don't necessarily have one of your own right now, you borrow mine. And I'm going to be the speaker for you anyhow, right? So yeah, sure. I should have invited Ron. I think Ron just texted me. I should have invited Ron to this. But we're just going to continue with the flow right now. So okay. Hopefully you get something from that. This is recorded. I'm going to send this to you after. And I would like you to listen to this over and over again and start practicing. The other thing I would do differently than I'm doing right now is I'd be standing up, because I've been doing this for so long. I can do this from a sitting position, but you want to be standing up, because when you stand up, it's coming from a different place. It's going to be coming more from the diaphragm, and you're going to have a little bit more energy in that voice. Okay. And the other thing, be in front of a mirror. Have a mirror in front of you to make sure you got your grinner grinning. All right. Because they can feel that. They can hear that grin through the phone. All right. And if you're got this and you got this, the sluggish, you're slumped over, you're slumped back on the couch. Hey, man, what's going on? That ain't going to work. I'm just telling you right now. Or if it does work, it's probably not the type of person you want in your business. Yeah. Right. So upbeat energy, stand up, have a mirror, kind of go through the opening a little bit so you kind of feel comfortable with it. And then you can make it your own words. You don't have to use the specific words I'm using. Be authentic, but just have a little step in your giddy up, extra step. In your up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So now what's going to happen with this? So we're looking for 20 yeses and not possibles or maybes or tries. And you saw how I kind of handled that objection. So we're looking for 20 yeses. We get 20 yeses on there. We know something's going to happen and they're not all going to show up. But that's going to get us a good percentage on there. And from that good percentage, we're going to get some business started, people that get started in the business. And we're going to get some people as customers, and we're going to get some people that don't want to do anything. All right. That's totally cool. But if you only have 2, 3, 4, 5 people on there, now our odds are getting a little bit tighter. Now I have done VGOs with just 5 people and all 5 people got started. Not because I'm that good, but because of the way this is all laid out and because the person that did the inviting set it up for the business. And then that led them to getting started. So it really does begin with that very first phone call. The close that I'm doing in the webinar, that whole presentation is set up by your phone call in the invite. You want to be on fire, excited, man. You want them to hear something different in your voice and inflection. All right. On and off the phone very quickly. If they start getting into a lot of questions, hey, I don't have time to get into that right now. I got Jill, Sue, Barry, Jim, Bob. I'm telling you what, Matt, I got all these people, and I've already got a bunch of people that are going to be on. So I'm just looking for the serious. And that's how you can handle that and get off the phone. All right. That a lot of times will be the first person that shows up on the VGO early. I'm not kidding. Yeah. So a good takeaway will really work. All right. Now, how the flow of this VGO actually goes, it's actually really simple. There's just a lot of steps to it to kind of explain it, but it's actually very, very easy. We're all going to get on a webinar. You're going to introduce me. I'm going to go through the webinar, and then we're going to call the people after. That's the flow of the VGO. All right. So it's very simple. Now, how all this really works is I'm going to send you an email, and in that email, it's going to have a lot of this all written out. It's going to have the invite all written out for you. All you got to do pretty much is copy and paste it and send it out. All right. And that's what you're doing Tuesday night, Wednesday, to the people that have already committed to it.
Okay.
And then 30 minutes prior to the VGO starting, 30 to 20 minutes prior, you're going to start sending out text messages. And this is in the bottom of the email I'm sending you, is the complete link. All right. So the first part's just going to go to zoom.us, and this is the ID number that you're going to join with. The bottom part is going to have the link, and that's what you're going to use to send out in a text message about 30-20 minutes prior to the actual start as a final reminder for the person, so that if they're not at the computer, they can at least join by the phone, because there's just a simple link in there. They just can touch it right from their phone, they're on. So that's the reason why I like doing it that way. Now, all right, so you and I are going to get on at least 5 minutes prior. And I'm going to show you how some of these buttons work. There's one on there. If you can actually probably see it right now. If you look, where you can mute and show the video, there's also participants on there.
Yeah.
Now on the webinar is one way. They will be able to hear us. They will be able to see us. We can see who's on it, but they cannot talk to us. All right. So if you ask them a question and they're not responding, it's because they can't talk. And the way you'll see who's on is you will click on the participants there. Right now, it just says participants 2 when you do that. On that night, it's going to be the host, and then it's going to have attendees. You're going to want to click on the attendees, and now you can see the guys and gals as they show up. And as they show up, just like they were coming to your house, you want to welcome them in. Right? You're not going to let them show up to the house or come into the house and just ignore them. You're going to say, "Hey, Bob, it's great seeing you, man. Can I get you anything to drink? Here's the couch. Here's a notepad and pen. Because I'll tell you what, guy's going to be amazing. You're going to want to take down all these notes." All right. So you just welcome them into the Zoom like you would to their house. Here's one thing you want to try to refrain from saying, and that is thank you. Thank you for being here, Bob. No, because if anybody's thanking anybody, they're thanking you for thinking of them to invite them to the Zoom webinar. All right. Yeah, right. So if we can stay away from saying thank you, we lose posture when we do that. Now they think they're doing you a favor. Hell no. We're doing them a favor by offering this up to them. Whether they want to do it or not, totally up to them. But we're not thanking them, they're thanking us. That's the mindset. At least. Now, if thank you comes out, that's fine. But I just want you to understand the philosophy behind that. It's actually kind of significant. The next thing that's going to happen, about 1 or 2 minutes in, depending on how the number of people that are showing up and how fast they're showing up, at some point, I'm going to say, "Hey, Zeph, why don't we go ahead and get started?" All right. When I say those words, "Hey, Zeph, why don't we go ahead and get started?" That's when you're going to start the introduction. And then you say, "Hey, I am so excited for all of you to be here tonight." Instead of saying, "Hey, I want to thank you all for being here tonight." No, "I am so excited for you to hear what this gentleman has got to share with you tonight. This is an amazing opportunity. I know when I saw it, I was blown away. I knew we were on to something big." Whatever it is, that's my words. Whatever it is for you, what's got you excited about this business? All right. The income potential of the business, not the product at this point. Okay. Then I'm going to send you a short bio, and you can read off my bio, but it's the same thing I've been saying in those invites. F-16 fighter pilot, retired as lieutenant colonel, was a captain with Southwest Airlines, retired 7 years early, in large part because of what you're going to see in this presentation, and as a best-selling author of the book, Discovering Your Authentic Truth. But that's all going to be written out for you, okay? So you might want to read over that a few times before the webinar, but if you want to just read it right off your phone or off a piece of paper, that's totally fine too, all right? Because this is an edification, and the purpose of the edification is to put me up here so that the people want to listen to what I have to say. It's not about me. I already know what I've accomplished in life, right? Yeah. They don't know me. So you're going to provide an edification so that these people go, "Wow, if that guy's accomplished all this, maybe I should listen to what he has to say." That's the purpose of the edification. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Once that's done, so here's Guy Berlando. And I'm saying, hey, thank you so much, Gabriel, man. I'm so excited to be here and blah, 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 blah. And as I start getting on the jazz of doing my thing with the webinar, you're just going to kind of just fade away. All right. You're going to turn off your video and mute yourself. All right.
All right.
And I'm going to go through the webinar. And then when I finish with the products, I don't know if you personally have a testimony yet. Do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. So how long have you been on the product?
Been on it for 4 days now.
4 days. Anything in energy, focus, sleep? What are some others that might come up in the first few days? Anything like that?
Mainly focus and mental clarity. Like I'm able to think a lot clearer for sure.
And I'll tell you what, that was the very first thing I noticed. Okay, so perfect. And your dad has a testimony, right?
Oh yeah, he definitely does. He's already witnessed that, you know, he's starting to think clearer, get better sleep already, and just have more energy throughout the day.
Didn't he have a pain? He had a pain in his hand too, right? He's a guitar player, and in his
yeah,
left
yeah,
hand, he had a pain, and now he can start playing the guitar,
yeah.
right? He's like, oh my God, the pain went away. So here's what I would like you to do. I want you to kind of rehearse this. Yours, 15, 20 seconds, but then share your dad's in about 45 seconds to a minute. So about 2 minutes total. I'm going to bring you on, you turn on your video and your mic again and share your testimony. And then but let me tell you about my dad. Yeah. Those of you that know my dad, he loves playing the guitar, and his hand was getting so, to the point where he was having a difficult time playing the guitar. And a friend of his had him try the swish and the pain relief, and within hours he could start playing the guitar again without pain. Who do you know that's got pain, right? So share, and then he's sleeping better and in mental clarity and focus as well. All right. So throw those 2 stories in when I call back on you. That will probably happen around the time of the sprays, either before I get to the sprays, probably because it's a pain thing. I'll do it after the sprays, and I'll bring you on to do those testimonies. And then I'm going to go into, okay, now how can you start making money with all this? And so great job, Gabriel. Thank you for sharing that. And then you can turn off your video and silent again on the mic. Okay. And then I'm going to go through the money, and then I'm going to go through a very powerful close. And in that close, I'm going to, somewhere during the money part, I'm going to be talking about, hey, if you're ready to go now, you definitely want to shoot Gabriel a quick text. All right. And let him know. Now, I have done VGOs where people are already signing up before I've even gotten to how you sign up. So they're like, hey, Gabriel, man, I am totally in. This is amazing. All right. I want in. And if you get some of those, great. You're marking those people down. And then I'm going to say, at some point, I'm going to say that this is a first come, first serve type of business. So the first person that tells Gabriel that I'm ready, that you're ready to go, you guys are getting the top spot. And then the second person that texts, you're getting the spot underneath that person, more than likely, right? And then on down. All right. And so you want to keep track of who calls you first, text first, and who says yes first, for sure. All right. Because they're going to get the top position. And then, so I'm going to finish up at that close. And then we're going to wait 2 minutes. So when the Zoom meeting ends, note the clock, note 2 minutes. And if people are calling you back, great. If nobody calls you back in 2 minutes, then you're going to call me. And then we're going to start calling these people together. And we're going to go your hottest person first, the person that that could get either started with a pro pack or just in the invite was really excited, just a hot person, a person that's like Malachi last night, right? He's into sales. He's a people person. He knows people. That's who we want to call back first. All right.
Yep.
And we're going to get on the phone, and you know how to do a 3-way call with your phone?
I think so. Yeah. You just hit add call, and then you can click one of your contacts.
Right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So you may want to practice it a couple times with your mom and an 800 number or something, whatever. So you're really, comfortable with it. And then you're going to call me and say, okay, Gabriel, let's call the first person on your list. And we call Bob, and you get a hold of Bob and say, Bob, man, Gabriel, that was an amazing call, wasn't it? You're not going to believe this. Okay. This is important. You're not going to believe this. I've actually got Guy on the phone right now. Guy, this is Bob. Bob, this is Guy. And you're done. And then what you want to do is the mute function on your phone, you want to hit mute. I don't want to hear background noise. I don't want to hear coughing. I don't want to hear you interrupting. None of that stuff. All right. Because now the only thing you're doing, your sole purpose now is to be taking notes and listening to how this conversation transpires and kind of listen to the questions I'm asking, how I'm navigating this conversation, so you can start learning this. The more you hear this over and over again, the quicker you're going to start actually being able to learn this. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to start doing these on your own. And then you're going to start teaching this to the people that you bring on as team members as well. And we're starting to develop those skills that are necessary to make a bigger money here. Okay.
Okay.
And that's how it goes. And now there's 3 options that can happen, 3 basic options, 4 really, but 3 basic options. Person's ready to go. Let's go. All right. I'm going to ask them 2 questions every time. It's going to start sounding redundant. All right. But here's what successful people get good at: what's boring. I have said that invite 1,000 times, but the first time you heard it sounded like the first time I was ever saying it, right? That's the excitement. So successful people get good at what's boring, right? I do that webinar. I can't tell you how many times I've done that webinar in 2.5 years. All right. I used to do it 4 times a week, 5 times a week, an hour long each time. So believe me, I've done that webinar more than once. But every time I do it, I want the person on the other end to hear it as if I'm doing it for the very first time, because they're hearing it for the very first time. So I got to come with that kind of energy, right? Just like the Rolling Stones, they're freaking out on tour right now. They've been playing since long before you were born, right? But when those people, you went to one of their concerts right now, you would hear them playing as if it was the very first time, because they bring that kind of energy. That's why they're so successful. Right. So you're going to hear me say the same thing over and over again, but then let it start sinking in, and your subconscious mind starts learning these skills to the point where you can start doing it. Okay. So I'm going to ask 2 questions. What did you like best? And how do you see yourself getting started? There might be others in there, but those 2 are definitely coming out. Yeah. And then we zip it, right? Because we want to listen to what they're saying. The biggest art of this is listening to what the other person is saying, so we can understand and overcome any sort of objections or resistance that may be there. There's only one objection we cannot handle. And that's the one that's not asked, the one we don't hear. All the other objections more than likely can be overcome. Now, I'm not going to be super hard on your people. If this was more cold calling, I would be a lot more forceful with it. But these are your friends and people that and I don't want, I want them to want to be here. So, but I do want to handle their objections, because if they do want to make an extra $500 or $1,000, I want to help them understand how they can do that. There was a little bit with Malachi last night, but not much. I mean, he was pretty much in before we even got on the phone, it sounded like. Right? Oh, yeah. But some of your friends or the people from the guests may have a little bit more resistance. So we kind of want to go through it. And we have what's called an 8-question close, but I'm not going to teach that to you. That's why I'm doing the call for you. Okay.
Yep.
So the 3 responses that you're going to get: yes, I'm ready to go. Hey, I want to think about it. Great. Gabriel, we got it. That's why we got that think about it kit. Remember that consumer pack for less than $100? Because here's the thing. What are you going to think about? If you got a chance to actually look at the websites, look at the back office, play around with that app for a whole month, try out the product, now you got something to think about. Doesn't that make sense? All right. So that's the think about it. And then the third one is, hey, I just want to be a customer. I just want to be a customer. Great. Hey, let's just get a couple of the pieces of information and we'll get that out to you. Now, it's really important, as I already said, you have a notepad and pen, you're taking notes, but then also have fresh paper or even an application in hand, so that as I'm collecting the information, you're the one that's writing the information. I'm not writing the information. This is your person. So you're writing the information. So I'll say, okay, just make sure we got that last name spelled correctly. How do you do that? And then your phone number. I know Gabriel's probably got it, but why don't you just give it to us again, that this is the phone number you want, and then your email, your social security. And this is the reason why we need social security, your date of birth, and that kind of thing, billing address, and blah, 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 blah. So you're writing that information down. If you miss something in there, definitely speak up. Hey, Guy, I missed that email. Can you give me that? Or Bob, can you give that to me again? Yeah. So that you interrupt me for, okay? So make sure we got it, because I'm not doing the writing. You're doing the writing. All right. And then we're on to the next person. All right. And we're going to go through those. Now, if somebody says the fourth one is, hey, Gabriel, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want anything to do with this. Great. Hey, I'll tell you what, life happens. Things may change. If things do change in your life and you want to, readdress this, hey, I am all ears. I am here for you to support you in your journey. If there's something changes in your life and you do want to take a look at this, I'm here for you. All right. And don't thank him again. I appreciate you being on the call tonight. All right. And you just want to be really nice. You're not going to try and get into an ego battle. We could try to get into a battle. Well, what is it that you don't want to have anything to do with? Is it, and I want to find out if I'm doing this a little bit more hardcore. I want to find out, is it network marketing? Is it the product? Is it, you don't want money? I mean, are you afraid of making money? Because some people are. I'm serious. Some people are very comfortable living in their misery. So I'm going to want to try to dissect that a little bit. I don't know if we'll get into that too much. A lot of it's going to depend on how many people you got on your list, how many phone calls we got to make. And we're calling everybody, even the people that didn't show up. All right. Because maybe there's a good, valid reason they didn't show up and they really were interested. Right. So we're going to call everybody.
Right.
All right. That's the reason why we're doing this at 7 o'clock. So we've got enough time to be able to call everybody. All right. Now, at the very end, when all this is done, you're doing a recap on that. Oh, I forgot about the attendee sheet. You're going to do a recap on the attendee sheet that you had already sent me. And I'll go back to that. You had already sent me an attendee sheet. You're going to go back and complete filling that out and then send it to me again. All right. So you're going to send me this attendee sheet twice. Where do you find the attendee sheet? It is in your back office under resources, trainings, and it's very last item. It says virtual grand opening attendee sheet. You have to save it to your desktop first and then fill it out, type it out. And then you're going to email that to me 1 hour prior to the start of the VGO. So at 6 p.m., you're emailing me the completed attendee sheet. One of the things on there is asking if the person has MLM, quote unquote, network marketing experience. If you don't know, just put a question mark. If you do know, put a yes. If you know that they've never, then put a no, an N. All right. So that's asked on that attendee sheet. So it's under resources, trainings. The very last item is virtual grand opening attendee sheet. Save it to your desktop first, fill it out, send it to me 1 hour prior. And then when we're done with all the phone calls, all the follow-ups that night, you're going to fill it out. There's where did they get started? Were you able to get a hold of them? Did they get started? What level did they get started at? Something like that. And then send that back to me. Okay.
Sweet.
That's the flow of the VGO. Any questions?
Just one more time. I'm going to write down where you find that attendee sheet. It was in resources.
Resources. And then on the far left, there's a menu. And the bottom one says trainings. You click on trainings, and then all these different forums are going to show up, and it's the last one. And it says virtual grand opening attendee sheet. And the big thing is don't fill it out right there when you're in the back office. You got to save it to the desktop first, because if you fill it out while you're in the back office and then you go to save it, it's going to end up being blank, and all that work was just wasted.
Oh, okay. So I got to download it first.
First.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
None that I can really think of right now, but
okay, great. I'm going to stop the recording.